Okay, Reba muttered, feeling increasingly uncomfortable with the display. Oh wow, time for some weightlifting, Barbara Jean announced brightly, seemingly oblivious to Reba's discomfort. Oh good, Reba sighed in relief. That's enough of that stretching. Hello. Okay, Jordan said, moving to the weight bench. Knock this out. Yeah, okay. All right. Reba watched them for a few more minutes, the easy camaraderie between them fueling her suspicions. You know, I think I've seen enough, she finally declared, backing away. So, what do you think? Barbara Jean asked, following her toward the exit. You have any interest in getting a personal trainer? Only if he takes me out to dinner first, Reba retorted sharply. Are you sure, Reba? Barbara Jean pressed, her tone earnest. Seriously, this is one of the best relationships I've ever had. Oh, I think Jordan has his hands full with you, Reba said, unable to hide the edge in her voice. Oh, you're a beginner, Reba, Barbara Jean reasoned, misinterpreting Reba's reluctance. You'll start with Dot. Yeah. This is Reba. She seems a little tense. A massive, incredibly muscular woman marched over, her expression stern. I'd spend some extra time on the stretching, she announced in a deep, booming voice. Hey, get down there. Reba bolted for the exit. So, did you see him? Brock demanded the moment Reba walked through the front door, his anxiety practically vibrating. What's he like? Is he little? Could I take him? He's big, Reba answered, dropping her purse on the table with a thud. But he's not as big as Dot. So, what do you think? Brock pressed, leaning in close. Is there something going on there? Reba hesitated, the image of Jordan and Barbara Jean stretching playing in her mind. Look, Brock. I was hoping that I could go down to the gym and check things out and come back and tell you that there's nothing to worry about. But that's it, Brock groaned, sinking into a chair. Reba, come on. Okay? Brock pleaded, looking up at her with desperate eyes. I don't know if they're having an affair or not, Reba admitted slowly, choosing her words carefully. But if they keep working out like that, they might be having a baby. Brock's face turned pale. Man, I knew there was something going on. Before Reba could say anything else, Barbara Jean burst through the front door, her post-workout glow radiant. Hey, everybody. I'm here and I'm saying, well, oh hi honey. Don't you hi honey me? Brock snapped, his anxiety exploding into anger. What are you talking about? Barbara Jean asked, genuinely confused, her smile faltering. Oh man. Brock ran a hand through his hair, his voice tight. Did you honestly think that I wouldn't find out about you and Jordan? What? Barbara Jean gasped, her eyes widening in shock. We were working out. It was perfectly innocent. Reba, tell him what you saw, Brock demanded, pointing a finger at Reba. I don't want to get involved, Reba said quickly, taking a step back, suddenly wishing she was anywhere else. She said you're having an affair, Brock blurted out, misinterpreting Reba's earlier hesitation. Any more than I already am, Barbara Jean muttered under her breath, a flash of irritation crossing her face. Okay. Jordan and I are not having an affair. He's gay, she stated plainly. Brock blinked, stunned into silence. What? Reba, do you honestly think I would let a straight man grab my breasts? Barbara Jean asked indignantly, hands on her hips. Excuse me, Brock sputtered, his voice rising again in disbelief. He grabbed your breasts? He's gay, Barbara Jean repeated, exasperated. He wasn't touching them. He was arranging them. Carry on with your lives. She started to turn away, but Reba's voice stopped her. No, Reba. Everything is not fine. I had no idea you were so threatened by the new me, Barbara Jean continued, turning back to Reba, her voice trembling slightly with emotion. The slim waist, the toned legs, the phallus. The fellas, Reba repeated incredulously. The girls, Barbara Jean corrected herself quickly. Oh, the puppies. I am not threatened by you, Reba stated firmly. Really? Barbara Jean challenged, crossing her arms. Yeah, Reba insisted. Then why did you go down to the gym? Barbara Jean demanded, her eyes flashing. What, were you spying on me? No, Reba denied quickly, then sighed in defeat. Okay. Yes. I went down to the gym because I thought there was something going on between you and Jordan. Why would you think that? Barbara Jean asked, genuinely hurt. Because you've changed, Reba said gently, the anger draining from her voice. I have not, Barbara Jean protested immediately. Yes, you have, Reba argued softly. Ever since you lost all that weight, you're pushy and obnoxious, and you always want to be the center of attention. Hello? I've always been that way, Barbara Jean retorted, though her voice lacked its usual confidence. Brock cleared his throat awkwardly. She kind of got a point there. Yeah, well, something's changed, Barbara Jean, Reba concluded softly. Yeah, Barbara Jean agreed quietly, looking down at her hands. The way you guys look at me, I'm still the same Barbara Jean I always was. I'm just less winded. She looked up, a hint of vulnerability in her eyes. I know she might be right. Could be us. I'm sorry, honey, Brock said sincerely, stepping forward and taking her hand. Reba just got me all worked up. That's... He hesitated, taking a deep breath before continuing. Look, Barbara Jean, the truth is I think I went down to the gym almost hoping that I'd find you doing something wrong. You know, anything. So I could feel superior to you and your skinny butt. So, I'm sorry. Barbara Jean stared at him for a long moment, then a slow smile spread across her face. Sorry? Yeah. This is great. For the first time since we've known each other, you want to be me? She realized, her eyes sparkling with delight. I don't want to be you, Reba clarified quickly, suppressing a groan. I know. Barbara Jean clapped her hands together joyfully. It's even better. You want to look like me. She spun around, practically skipping towards the kitchen. Hey, where are you going? Just gonna go grab something to eat, Barbara Jean called over her shoulder cheerfully. I'll see you next year. Reba watched her go, shaking her head in disbelief. Later that evening, the house had finally quieted down. Van and Cheyenne were sitting on the couch in their bedroom, an uneasy silence stretching between them. Hey, buddy, Van started, trying to sound casual. What are we watching? No, we're not, Cheyenne replied sharply, turning off the TV with the remote. Want a rock, paper, scissor for it? Let's go. You're gonna pick scissors, aren't you? Van asked, trying to inject some levity into the situation. Get out, Cheyenne snapped, pointing toward the door. Hey, honey. Hey, baby. I need to talk to you, Van said, his tone softening, sensing her genuine distress. Oh, honey, I just got the TV, Cheyenne sighed, sinking back into the cushions. Well, I started thinking that maybe you don't think of me as new pretty because I don't do enough to keep your interest, she confessed, her voice small and vulnerable. No, honey, you're way hot, Van assured her immediately, leaning closer. Guilty, Cheyenne admitted with a slight smile, though it didn't quite reach her eyes. But anyway, I thought that maybe I should, change my look every now and then just to keep things fresh. So, I bought a wig. She reached into a bag beside her and pulled out a bright pink, slightly frayed wig, holding it up tentatively. Cheyenne, put that down, Van said gently, taking the wig from her hand and tossing it aside. Listen to me. He took her hands in his expression completely serious. I think it's a good thing that when I look at you, I don't see the beautiful girl with the killer bod. I see my wife. He stroked her cheek softly. And I'm attracted to her whether she's all dressed up, Ready to go out or just sitting on the couch wearing those washed-up flannel pajamas? Cheyenne looked at him, surprised by the depth of his words. Really? Yeah, Van confirmed, his eyes filled